That was pretty awesome. I like that.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Check that out. Nice, Dan.
I just remember I was like, oh, I drew the Black Widow. That I should hold that up.
All right, there you go.
Oh,
well,
great.
folks, welcome to the Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week, where we take one character and we do a deep dive on that character, give you badass moments, we give you top covers, we give you great stories, and of course, you get the pleasure of all of us telling you all this good stuff. I'm your host, Sal the Slab Guy. All of this. And when I'm not here on Codex, you can always find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner and Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. But down below is Dan the Man Kelly from Dan Kelly Art, the owner of Instagram. And then to his right, is that right? Yeah, to his right is the Ric Flair of comics coming to you from the Library of Comics. And of course, we have the ever loving Tim the Terrible. How you guys doing?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Doing great.
And looking
awesome.
Looking forward to talking some comics tonight.
Yes.
Gary can't find a good spot for Natasha to stand, sit, or kneel. Can you?
No, I can't. She's damn Russians.
She's had it.
She and I had a spirited discussion about Putin today, and we were at different ends of the spectrum.
Gary, if she's Russian,
survived.
If she's Russian, Gary, tell her to slow down.
Oh, okay. I will. And then when it's all over, will she be finished?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Let's go.
All right, folks. Let's go ahead and have Dan kick us off with all the information we need to know about Black Widow.
Well, she first appeared in April 1964 in Tales of Suspense, number 52, created by Stan Lee, Don Rico, and Don Heck. That's a lot of Dons.
That's a lot of Dons.
Do you own that issue, Uncle Gary?
I am sad to say I don't, but I do have 57 when she appears in that with Hawkeye. And first Hawkeye. But no, I do not have that first appearance.
So Natasha Romanoff, her origin has been changed a little bit here and there throughout the years, but as it stands now, she was saved by a man named Ivan Petrovich as a child during the Battle of Stalingrad in, believe it or not, 1942. She was raised in the Red Room, which is a Russian facility that takes in young girls and brainwashes them and trains them and turns them into spies. She was biotechnologically and psychotechnologically enhanced and given false memories, which made her think that she had studied as a ballerina. Excuse me. And because of these enhancements, that's why she, has lived this long life. She married later on when she grew up, she married a test pilot, and for a Russian test pilot. He went off. She was told that he died on a mission, but he was really taken and trained to be an operative himself, the original Red Guardian. On one of her first missions, she was sent to infiltrate Stark Industries, and she ended up going back again. She got involved with Hawkeye. She kind of dragged him into it. Then on a mission, she got seriously injured. Hawkeye saved her, took her to a hospital. She disappeared. She was captured again by she was trying to defect. She was captured again by the Red Room. But she eventually was able to free herself, become a superhero. She joined S.H.I.E.L.D. She became an Avenger. And, she became the Black Widow that we all know and love. As far as powers go, like I said, she is enhanced with biotech, makes her resistant to aging and disease, allows her to heal quicker than normal. She's a world-class athlete and gymnast. She's mastered several martial arts. I'm not going to name them all, but it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. She has extensive training with firearms and with melee weapons. And she wears the bracelets that you always see her wear, which shoot called the Widow's Bite, which is an electrostatic blast that can deliver charges as strong as 30,000 volts.
Oof.
And then more recently, I don't remember them delving into this as much, but she was killed in a storyline a few years ago by Marvel, and then she was brought back in a body that the Red Room had cloned of her and put all of her memories and personality and everything in it. So I don't remember if they delved into if like her new cloned body has all of the enhancements that her previous body did or not.
Okay, very good. Very good. All right, so before we jump into the segments, we got to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is W Energy Drink. You got to head over to w.gg, use the code -X, and save 10% on that order. It's a good, clean energy drink. There's no bad aftertaste. There's no sugar crash. It tastes much better than any other energy drink out there. All the guys on the Codex team have had it, and they all enjoy it. It is something we really like. So head on over to w.gg, use the code -X, and save 10% on that order. All right, so our first segment up is going to be scenarios on how this character works best. And I think I will kick this one off with how this character works best, because I just want to go first this time, So what I like about her, what I read and what I like about her is being the double agent, being the triple agent, being the quadruple agent. You never know, what side she's really going to fall on or how she's going to play it, because she is an ultimate spy. And I just love the ultimate mystery or the mysterious of this. Second thing I like about it is when she's just kicking ass. When she's just kicking ass, it is just hell on earth. It is amazing to see all her fight scenes. And when she's kicking ass, she is great. And I also like it when someone is paired with her, not her paired with somebody else. When someone is paired with her, she shines really great, and she has a great dynamic with one other partner. So that's what I really like best. How about you, Dan? What do you got?
First, I want to say, hey, Big Marv. He's
Big Marv. All right,
welcome to the show. I like when she's doing the espionage stuff. I think that works. That's where she works best. I do like her on the Avengers a lot. I don't think that all of these non-powered heroes, I mean, even though she, like I said, she's got the stuff that, keeps her from aging and helps her heal, but it's not like super powers, she can't lift a car, she can't fly, any of that. But, I do think she does work good on the Avengers. She does bring that other kind of, spy espionage element to them. But yeah, I like how she does that stuff. And like you said, how she, how they, she has people teamed up with her, especially when it's, when it's some of her ex-lovers, and there's quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it always leads to a bit of awkwardness, more so on their part than hers, because hers, she's like, all right, yeah, we were together. Now we're not. I've moved on. And
it was business.
I mean, look at who's
done with you.
I mean, we've talked about some of these characters and, like Nightwing and Hawkeye, and some of them that they've, some of their their hit list, if you want to call it. But Natasha, she's got Hawkeye, Winter Soldier, Iron Man, Hercules, Red Guardian,
Daredevil.
Yeah, I knew I was forgetting the big one.
Captain America.
Well, no, that she didn't really have a relationship. No,
that was heavily implied. Then,
no, they never had anything in the comic. Not in the 616.
It was just heavy petting, Tim.
Heavy petting.
And then there was the
stress relief
stuff. Nothing big.
Stress
relief. There was the couple other relationships she had that were like not that were just like normal people type ones. But that's a pretty big body count too. But it's always funny that they are the ones that like stay attached to her, and she's like, no, we're done.
Did you say Hawkeye too? Because
Hawkeye.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So how about you, Gary? Oh, sorry. Are you done?
No, I was just going to say, what about you, Gary? What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. Let's move me. I like her when she's used in the vein of in the realm of espionage. I love her. That's what she was trained to be. That's what she does best. She's a stealth operative. She's a tracker. She's a hunter of men and women. Yeah. She does not need any backup. She does not need a partner. She can do this on her own. She can do the dirty work too. So I love her when she's in hunter mode and she's going after someone, because she is a lethal assassin if she needs to be.
Mhm.
She is a force to be reckoned with, and she is pretty resolute when she has a mission. She is going to carry it out. I mean, I do
Yeah.
enjoy her in the team books too, but I think I really enjoy her most when there's stories that have a an international spy theme to them. That's where I enjoy her the most.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
You know, I like her when they team her up with Winter Soldier because they're very similar. But
Mhm.
whereas Bucky is he's willing to go, kind of over the line, but he doesn't want to because he's trying to redeem himself. And she's like, "No, it's all right, whatever." Pay like when they them up together, and then they have a third like superhero in there, like Hawkeye or something with them. That's definitely not like that at all. That's
Oh
always,
yeah.
I like her with Yelena a lot too.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
A little bit of widow on widow action. I enjoy.
Yes, indeed. All right, Tim. How about you?
I'm gonna parrot you guys. Espionage. That is where she thrives. That's the best stories that you can find with the Black Widow. When Mark Waid was doing Daredevil, and it was the Daredevil, Black Widow, and Punisher storyline. I can't remember the name of it. That was amazing. That was wonderful.
Hmm.
When she was with Winter Soldier in Winter Soldier's solo series, that was fantastic. When she's doing all the espionage, the spy stuff, the thriller stuff, excuse me, it's amazing. It's wonderful. It makes for great, engaging, and suspenseful stories. I enjoy when she's with the team, but I like her better when she, like Gary said, when she's on the hunt, when
Yeah.
she's in predator mode.
Yeah.
It's amazing because she is nonstop until the job is finished, and she will get to that conclusion any way she feels is appropriate to get there.
Yep.
And I love it.
Yep. Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So let's move on to our next segment, which is badass moments. Dan, why don't you go ahead and kick us off for this one? Give us your badass moments.
All right, so my first one is going to come actually from a out of continuity. I got like 3 different kind of varieties of them. So this is from an issue of What If. It's
Jeez, TJ. Oh my God.
No,
Hey,
there you go.
Hulk 180.
Nice.
Well, I was the one that
She
dropped
was-
the Hulk 180 last night on the, when you were talking about penicillin, I was like, I remember where penicillin was invented.
TJ
180.
keeping us on our toes today.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's right. Talking about penicillin last night. It was a
sorry, I
random
missed that one.
podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, Gary made a comment about or they made a comment about something like us me or you having to drive to his house in case the internet goes out. And I was like, and I commented, I was like, oh, Sal's already there lurking in the bushes outside.
Looking in the bushes. Yeah.
What do you mean? I wasn't doing that. I was out elsewhere last night.
Sure.
Yeah.
Elsewhere. I have
What's
50
up,
different
man?
people saw me different places. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, so my first one is from What If Age of Ultron issue 3.
Hey, Pam.
So
Okay.
in the Age of Ultron story, it was where Wolverine went back in time to try to kill Hank Pym to prevent him from making Ultron, blah blah blah. It's a cool story, go check it out. They did the Age of Ultron What If, where like each issue was a different repercussion that from him, Wolverine going back in time. So in this one, the repercussion was that when Thor, in that great Walter Simonson run, when he was weakened and had to wear that armor and fought the Midgard Serpent and he beat him, in this reality, the Midgard Serpent killed Thor. And because of that, all the frost giants and all these, creatures like overtook the earth. And even the Avengers at the point of this story, when it begins, they're dead. The Midgard Serpent killed them. So the last ones that are left alive to fight, it's Natasha, Nick Fury, Silver Sable, Falcon, Shang-Chi, and Microchip. Who
Oh,
it's
yeah.
funny
Wow.
because Nick Fury keeps calling him Microchip, and he keeps wanting him to call him by his real name. He's like, since Frank died, and and then Nick Fury will interrupt and be like, whatever, Microchip, just do your job. But in the story, there's like the last ditch effort for them to go and beat the Midgard serpent and win. And Natasha goes, and while the rest of them are kind of like the distraction, the sacrifice, she's going after Thor's hammer, because like this is the way we're going to do it, and she's the one that's chosen to lift it. And at first she can't lift it, and then she has to like kind of let go of her anxiety. Then she's able to lift it, and she becomes like the new Thor, beats the Midgard serpent, saves the world.
Nice.
Literally saves the world. So yeah, so that that scene in Avengers: Age of Ultron where she was like, oh, I don't even need to test that, like, hey, you know what, maybe you can.
Awesome.
My second one is from a more recent one. It's from Tales of Suspense, issue 104, which that whole storyline, I think it started at, it was from 100 to 104, which was a great story. I kind of wish I had put it in my central reading, but I got it in my badass moments. So 104 is the final issue of the series. This was after she was killed in Secret Empire, and the Red Room brought her back and put her in the clone body. And they had brainwashed her, so she was working for them. And then in the last, and she had done some pretty heinous things, and like Hawkeye and Winter Soldier were trying to stop her and trying to help her or whatever. And she was like pushing them to the side. And then it's revealed in the last issue that she was just playing it as she was just pretending to be loyal to her old bosses so that she could bring them down. And she ends up destroying the Red Room and saving all of these girls that were in it, which, I mean, knowing her history with it and what they put her through to make her, it was badass that not only did she get to save all them, but she just got to end it completely too.
Nice.
Nice.
And then my last one, I'm actually going to take from one of the movies, from the first Avengers movie. And I was going to keep it all in the comics, but this moment was so badass in the movie. And it's the scene when they had captured Loki on the helicarrier, and they had him locked up, and he's kind of talking with her and taunting her, and he's like, "You've got the red in your ledger," and Scarlett Johansson's great, for any of these people like Scorsese and them that talk about, you don't know what you're talking about. When you trash these movies, there is good acting in it. She played it perfectly, where she's making him think that he's really like
in charge.
Cutting her teeth, and that he's like, that she's really,
upset and
upset, and he's taunting her, and then
minuscule win.
And he ends up revealing something about his plan, and she instantly just, her whole demeanor changes. She goes, "Okay, thanks." He turns around. He's like, "Wait,
so
what?"
that's your play.
And he goes,
"Thank you for your cooperation."
Okay, thanks. And Loki, the god of lies, the trickster god, goes, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "I was playing you to get information." And then she calls in and be like, "Hey, this is what the plan is. We need to check, check whatever." But I thought that was absolutely badass that she tricked the trickster god.
That's great.
Awesome. All right, Tim, how about you? Let's have you go next.
Well, I'm going to keep the movie train a rolling and take Dan's cue. So, not from Avengers, but from Captain America, the Winter Soldier. When they are going to the ship, it's right in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And Nick Fury has given Captain America his own set of orders. Black Widow is with him, etc., etc. She was given her own set by Nick Fury, and I love when them two finally come together after he beats Batroc, and she's in there gaining information, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing? I needed you out here like this," and he's like, "Nick Fury said to do this," and she's like, "No, Nick Fury told you to do that. He told me to do this, and I'm almost done." And I love that, because that was, I think, the first real time on film that they really put in that kind of and the fact that she will do what she feels is necessary to get the job done, regardless of whoever else is around her. I love that. I thought that was great, and the whole movie played on that. And Scarlett Johansson is fantastic.
She is amazing.
She's wonderful. She's gorgeous. She does everything that Natasha needs to do on screen. She brought the character to life. And whether people agree with me or not, the Black Widow movie was good. So there.
You know, she wasn't even the one that they originally wanted for the part. It was originally offered to Emily Blunt, and she couldn't do it because she was under contract to do another movie somewhere else.
Wasn't it Edge of Tomorrow or something like that?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah.
There's a line later on in that movie I love when she's telling Cap about the Winter Soldier, and she's like, I had this encounter and he shot through me to kill the guy behind me, and she kind of like shows her stomach. And she's like, there, she's like, and there goes 2-piece bathing suits, and Cap just goes, yeah, I'm sure you look terrible in them.
Yep.
When she met Sam Wilson for the first time, and she pulls up and she's
flirting with him.
Yeah, she's like, anybody know where I can go see some fossils? And and he's standing there checking her out, and she's doing the same thing right back to him, and it was great. That's her being her, and I loved it. As far as comics, I've never read her in the comics before, so I have no idea. But I've only seen her in the movies. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
It'd be pretty hard to have read Marvel comics over the past 30, 40 years and not read something of her.
But as far as comics go, I can't think of anything specific like that was completely badass, except for the fact that like what Gary said. No, who was it? I think Sal, it was you, or Gary, it was you, that said when she is paired with somebody else, not the other way around. Yeah. And it was in The Winter Soldier, where even though he is supposed to be the lead of that entire series, she is the co-lead, and they share equal screen time, panel time in that book. And it felt like more of a her book than a him book the whole time, because he's trying, Dan, like you said, he's trying to redeem himself and kind of play it straight and narrow, and she is just like 2 steps ahead of him, and she's like, come on, Buck, let's go. Pow.
She's already been through that character arc, and accepted, this is who I am, while he's still on that arc of trying to redeem himself. She's like, I went through that 10 years ago.
And I'm going to talk about that series more later in the episode, but just that whole series, like and it was Brubaker that wrote it, and he knows how to write it. And when writers take a character like her, and instead of putting her in a supporting role, but put her like a half a step or even a step above the lead of the series, that's amazing to me. That in itself is badass.
Yep, I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, Gary, don't mind if I go next, and I'll let you pinch it or clean up on this one. Sure. So for my badass moments, I got 3 of them, and these are just stood out for me. Black Widow #1 from 2014. This guy I'm sorry. She's trying to protect this guy who has a contract on him, and he doesn't know that she's really trying to get the assassin, but she uses this guy as bait. He has a bulletproof vest on. She puts him by the window, and this guy gets shot in the chest. And that was just so she could figure out where that assassin is, and she breaks out the rocket launcher and blasts the guy in the next building over. And she goes, I wasn't hired to kill you, Mr. Lucas. I was hired to kill your assassin. He goes, and if you know me, and the guy went on about saying, oh, this is going to ruin your reputation. I'm going to tell the Avengers, and I'm going to tell blah, 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 blah. And he's like, she goes, well, if you know me, then I don't mind playing. I don't play by anybody's rules, so it was pretty badass moment. For another one, this guy had the drop on her, had the gun on her, and she goes, you mind putting the gun down? And she goes, if you shoot that gun, I'm gonna kill you. And the guy's like, you're gonna kill me anyhow. He goes, what? You think you're bulletproof now? And she's like, find out. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So, and the last one came out of this story, No Restraints Play. This is kind of a gruesome story. This is about kid trafficking, and very, very powerful story in itself. I'm not going to go into too much details in it, but she finally confronts the main trafficker and rams a pole or a stick down his throat.
Oh,
As you know, because of all the torture that he's done to these kids and trafficking. And it's just the panels alone. They don't have much dialogue or text to them, but the panels alone are just that gruesome. And you know, it just came up later about showing how she was.
It's that justification at the end that the evil, atrocious villain gets that. That's amazing.
Gets that. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So if you read that story, you'll understand it. And you know, she ends up at the end of the story where she's actually hugging one of the kids and she's crying and they're just listing all the emotions that she's going through. She's mad, she's sad, she's angry, and she's trying to be empathetic to this little kid that's been through all this torture. So it's just an amazing story, but that in itself was a badass moment where she just rammed the stick down that guy's throat. That was just like karma. All right, Gary, let me have your badass moments.
All right. Now, I wasn't using these, but I just do want it, since we talked about the movie, say two things I really enjoyed, where she's the general has her captive and she gets the phone call, put her on the phone.
Oh, yeah. That was a great moment.
She's supposedly at their mercy. And she's, what are you doing? I'm working here.
Telling me
this guy's telling me everything.
Yeah, I'm working here. And then she, of course, kicks all their asses. But it's just the indignation, right? She was playing the victim and all that. What are you doing? I'm working here.
Yeah, he grabs her by the face and says, I'd hate to ruin that pretty little face.
Yeah.
I'm pretty?
Yeah.
I'm pretty.
Yeah. And then when she meets her ultimate fate, she fights like hell and beats Hawkeye's ass in order to kill herself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of badass. But
that is.
Going through the comics, I am going to also mirror what Dan said. She destroyed the Red Room and all the protocols and everything else. So the thing that birthed her and molded her, and tortured her and was doing that to another generation of girls, she ended the whole damn program. So I like that.
Yeah.
A badass moment is more of a general moment, is the fact that on these Avengers teams and on the Champions, she had no powers. I mean, really, she has no powers. She has the Widow's Sting. She has skills, kind of like Hawkeye does. Hawkeye has skills, but she's like him, where it's no powers. It's just skill. And to hang out, to be in a group that's got Iron Man, Thor, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Wonder Man, all these powerhouses. Yeah. And your whole, you can pull your weight when you're just, not an enhanced human. That's pretty freaking badass. And with the Champions, she was the leader of the Champions.
And sometimes she was leader of the Avengers too.
Yeah, she did have a leadership role in Avengers too. Absolutely. Yeah. But the Champions was her first leadership gig. So I think that's incredibly badass to be a leader of a team like that with absolutely no powers. I think that's pretty tough. The last one it's a more obscure one, and I don't know if y'all have read this book. If I had done the Punisher show, this would have been one of my Punisher.
Oh,
Punisher Warzone.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
Y'all know what this book is?
Look here.
Quick, block him, kick him out of the stream.
I will not, sir. I will not.
In the Punisher Warzone, Spider-Man goes to the Avengers and says, "We've got to do something about Castle.
Yeah,
we've got to do something. This is a mass murderer, and we turn our heads, and we just let him do what he's going to do." And Tony Stark is like, I was at the ballet. You called me back for this? I don't go after Punisher. And Thor was like, oh my God. And Natasha was like, well, I didn't think he was killing cops. Are you sure this is him? Because there was some cops have been killed. And Spidey says, does it matter? Does it matter who he's killing? Come on now. And Wolverine says nothing, which was interesting. But Cap agrees and says, you know what? We've looked the other way. We need to bring Castle in. And then Cap does ask Wolverine.
Sal's having connection issues, so I got to drop him, guys. Hang on a second.
Sure. I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's funny with Wolverine, too, because you think Wolverine and Punisher would have a relationship where they'd be buddies, but they are very antagonistic towards each
Yeah.
other.
Well, in this one, they actually there is a closeness. So Cap says to Wolverine, "I noticed you didn't say anything, Logan." He goes, "Well, Cap, I didn't think you wanted to hear what I had to say. I think some people just need to be killed." Well, so anyway, the Avengers decide they're going to go after Castle. Now, Castle, Wolverine does go to Castle, and he says, "They're coming for you, Frank, and they're going to put you away." And Spider-Man argues, throwing him in jail doesn't do anything. That's like taking him to Club Med. You know? So, and Wolverine says, "Frank, they're going to burn. They're going to put you in a hole somewhere all by yourself, and that's going to kill you." So he warns Castle, and the Widow's the first one on his tail. And the Widow goes to Wolverine first, and even though Wolverine's covered his tracks really well with everything, she knows that he's already gone and warned Castle. And she finds Castle in Africa and is going to be able to take him down. But Castle ends up running her just long enough to get her on the outskirts of a village. And on this village, it's, if you know what's, one of the ongoing things that's been happening in Africa for about 20 years now is these armed groups are taking children and they're turning the boys into soldiers and doing terrible things to the girls. So Castle runs her where she's going to run straight into this village, and she has to make a choice. Does she save these children or does she apprehend him?
Wow.
And so he puts her in that position. And as much as she wanted him, she has to, she makes that hard decision to take care of those children. And she knew it was the right choice. But the fact is that she's the one that, Castle had warning. Castle got out of there, and she still tracked his butt down and was on him and, was ready to get him.
That good.
She's that good. And look, it's not like Frank Castle doesn't know how to disappear either.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he's in frickin' Africa, right? So with, Castle knows how to disappear and knows combat and all that. And he had to resort to a fallback plan to get rid of her. And so it did. Wow. And this, again, if you haven't read this book, this is a fantastic book.
It's good.
Greg Rucka wrote it. And to get all the different Avengers that go to him, Thor, Thor does beat the hell out of Castle, right? When his shot comes, and he goes, "Castle, I know dark souls like you. Come, we will drink." And they drank together, and he appealed to his better senses to turn himself in. And he goes back to Cap. He goes, "Did you get him?" He goes, "No, but we drank together." Cap's like, "Well, thank goodness for that." he knew Castle would turn himself in.
What year did that come out?
Let's see.
Gosh, I don't know.
It's recent, right? Or is it 90s Warzone?
90s.
15 years ago?
No, it's not. It's not the 1 through 2013.
2013.
Yeah, it's about 10 years ago.
Okay.
2013. It was a 5-issue miniseries.
Yeah.
And then it was put in this. I'm telling you, fellas, this would have been on my Punisher must-reading list. And to get the different reactions of all the Avengers was really good. And they each had their shot. And Iron Man, who thought Punisher was so beneath him, he got his ass punked by Frank. So it's worth reading. But anyway, I'm sorry to go so long on this. Black Widow was badass because she tracked his butt down. Somebody that knows how to disappear. She tracked him down, and he had to resort to a backup plan that appealed to her better angels to not be taken down by the Widow.
Now, gentlemen, TJ has a great question here, and I'd like to get an answer. Was she in the Avengers the same time as Beast?
Negative, because Beast was never in the Avengers. Negative.
Yes, they were teammates.
To give accurate information, and you're giving inaccurate information.
Don't listen to him.
That is so wrong. The Avengers 136 all the way to 200.
He was on loan. He was on loan.
Almost every damn issue of Avengers and was officially inducted in 153. But from 136 to 153 was a part of that team. So
Wow.
don't listen to him.
There we
That's a
go.
great what if story.
Look, I have an Avengers shirt on right here.
You have a knockoff make
and the beast,
Avenger shirt.
the beast is on this shirt. He's an Avenger.
Oh, damn, Jamie.
Sal's losing his touch as fast as his hair.
No, I lost my hair a lot faster. Thank you very much.
We're in the middle of work here, gentlemen.
This happened
I think it's great.
18.
I think it's great that the people that are watching are just plugged into the Sal Gary Beast feud.
But Tim's got to look over at Sal and be like, "That's the worst case scenario." And like every time he touches his hair,
Well,
I don't mind it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me whatsoever.
I have enough hair for everybody on screen right now.
I can't wait to shave it completely and go
And,
cue ball.
and that's just on his rump.
That's
That's
right.
true.
Yeah,
That's right.
Tim's eventually going to cut his hair, and then have him make a wig and send it to Sal,
Oh my god.
Oh no!
like that episode of Impractical
Which-
Jokers.
Yeah, which I would never wear. All right, moving on. Moving on, folks.
Damn
Moving
right.
on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Great badass moments. They're all, even the movies ones. I totally agree with those as well. And she kicked ass in the movies as well,
Yes,
especially in the first Iron Man movie,
She sure
where she
did.
went through
yeah.
the all the guards like there was.
You
like
never
the
let your guard down.
Yep. So now let's move on to our next segment, which is critiques and criticisms. What do we do not like about this character? So Gary, why don't you go ahead and kick us off on this one first?
When Black Widow is somebody's boyfriend, just crap.
I actually have that too. I do too.
Come
Yep.
on, Black Widow is Black Widow. She's not, defined by being with Daredevil or being with Hawkeye or being with Iron Man, being with Hercules. She is all she needs is herself.
She is with who she is with because it suits her at that time.
That's
exactly.
right. That's right. She, if Winter Soldier, whatever, whoever, whatever she, when she needs a little recreational activity, maybe that's who she. But she was kind of relegated to the girlfriend status in the old '70s Daredevil series.
Yeah.
And that is a disservice to that great character. So when she's relegated as somebody and Black Widow, that's what I don't like.
Yep. Okay, so that kind of echoes my point I said earlier. When she is paired with somebody else and they're not paired with her, she loses, like, she goes into the background almost. And and to be classified as the boyfriend or the someone's boyfriend status, that's not her whatsoever. And the eye candy, which she is. However, when she's classified as somebody's boyfriend, it's not
that liner of poison though. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. So that's what I don't
If
like.
she's just acting as somebody's girlfriend, it's when she is deep undercover and she's infiltrating.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Dan. What about you?
As far as the character right now, nothing. I dig the way that user. It's more so in the the days gone by when she would be kind of a secondary character. Like, yeah, she led the Avengers for a while, but she was a secondary character for a long
Wait a minute.
time.
The Widow has turned off Sal's power.
She's coming for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last we see of Sal, and he's
there we go.
Oh,
but when she
the Beast that did that to him.
Be the Beast from the X-Men because he can control all the computers and stuff like that.
No. Beast from the Avengers because he had government contacts.
Beast from the Defenders, ladies and gentlemen.
There you
Or
go.
X Factor. Nobody cares about X Factor.
No.
hey,
I
I've
like
almost
X
got a
Factor.
complete.
I love X Factor.
Go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
I was gonna say it not so much now because when she got that first miniseries in Marvel Knights, which was the first time she had her own standalone series. Since then, she's become much more of a prominent character where she's had a bunch of her own series where either she's been the lead or it's been her like with someone else, but she's been a major, part of it. It hasn't been like, oh, she's just with someone else. Like she's been the lead with someone else or the lead herself. And that was, that even predated the movies, the Marvel Knights stuff by years and years.
Yeah.
So, well, like I said, not, so much now, I kind of dig everything they're doing with her. And the whole idea of them giving her a symbiote too, even though I think, I've said before, like there's too many symbiotes around, like not everybody needs one. The whole idea of Black Widow getting one, like it just makes so much sense.
Yeah. And that's been a pretty badass storyline in Venom as well.
Yeah. So I think that's something cool where it's like, all right, like sometimes they take non-powered characters and they give them powers or some kind of twist, and you're like, that ruins the
Like
character.
Mary
That doesn't
Jane.
work. What? Yeah, like Mary Jane. But the whole idea of her getting a symbiote works for her character as being someone that's like does espionage and infiltration and the whole spider thing. Like with Castle. Yeah, it didn't make sense to make him an angel or to make him Frankenstein, but putting him in the War Machine armor, well, that made perfect sense for what he is as a character, as a military guy, as a weapon. That made perfect sense. Same thing with her now.
Yep. All right. Very good. All right, Tim. How about you?
So this might be a hot take, but I don't think so. My biggest critique is when she is a superhero. So what I mean by that is,
please explain.
what I mean by that is when she plays the line of good, she is less interesting. She is more of a static figure in the background, or when they let her be in the foreground for a little while. It's not memorable. But when she and they don't do this enough with her, but when she really blurs the line between a good guy and a bad guy, that I think is when she shines. And it's unfortunate that we don't see that near enough. Like we saw that in other titles, like in The Winter Soldier and in Homecoming, even, and things like that, like where we've talked about where she does what's necessary, and sometimes what's necessary is not what a good guy would do, right? She's been a double agent, she's been a triple agent, she's been a quadruple agent, right? And she's played shield against AIM or other agencies, Hydra and things like that, and you don't see that enough, and I wish they would do it more. I want her less as a superhero and more as an agent of espionage.
Tim, I know it's not Black Widow, but did you ever read Brubaker's series, Velvet?
No, I haven't, but I've heard about it.
Oh, you would absolutely love that, about a female agent, and it is amazing.
What is the name of it?
Velvet.
I'm writing a lot of stuff down today, guys.
Yeah, Velvet is amazing. Brubaker and I believe Epstein did the art on it. It was an ongoing series, and then it was collected in one great big volume. But it is spectacular.
I will check it out.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah,
very good.
That's my critique.
Okay. Very good. That leads us to our next segment, which is top covers.
Ooh.
So we've each chosen 3 badass covers that we want to share with you guys today. Who hasn't gone first? Who hasn't gone first yet?
Gary. No,
I haven't gone first, I guess.
Everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with Gary then.
Gary's
All right.
covers.
Let's see
Gary's
what
covers first.
Let's see what
There
covers
we
up. Okay. Oh, gorgeous.
Oh, look at that.
Marvel
Nice.
fanfare. Such beautiful work.
And that was actually her first solo stories were in Marvel Fanfare. It was 4 issues in Fanfare, and that is the great George Perez on that Marvel Fanfare.
Yeah, I was really close to making mine too.
I mean, there were 3 covers in a row, and she was in 4 stories in a row, 4 issues in a row. But the 3 covers by Perez were all good. That was the one I picked as the most badass, where she's just giving somebody a facial with one of her widow stings, and she's getting ready to give another one to some other unlucky clown. So
if you're just window shopping on comic covers, you can never go wrong with Marvel Fanfare.
No,
those covers were pinups.
Or with Perez.
And it was also all the interior art was done. The interior pages were all done on that high Baxter paper too.
Doug's
So,
coming in, guys. Say hello to Doug.
Hey, Doug, what's happening, buddy?
you're still
Welcome
here
to the
for
party.
welcome to the party. You fashionably late, brother. That's all.
Yep.
So the interiors on Marvel Fanfare were all the high quality paper too. So the art all looked gorgeous. But the Black Widow 3-issue or four issues were great. And that cover by Perez is my favorite of it. Perez did it, and also I believe had an inking assist from P. Craig Russell on that cover. The middle cover is just
stunning,
just gorgeous. You know, the face, the body, the guns, and the weapons she has, everything.
Yeah.
Doug says Marvel Fanfare is highly underrated and underappreciated.
That's
Oh,
true,
yeah.
Doug. That's
with,
true.
without a doubt. So the Web of Black Widow, that's Web of Black Widow 1. That's the F cover, and it's done by Shannon Mayer.
Wow.
And that's just the eyes, the face, the hair. That's just yes, it's a pinup, but damn if it isn't gorgeous.
That's the last image you see before she unloads all bullets in those clips into you.
Yeah, well,
Like I had to pause there and figure out how you were going to phrase
Yes.
well, while she's unloading into you, you may be unloading too. So who knows?
Not at all, because once she's dressed like that, fun time is over.
Yeah. So, but man, what a way to go, right? All right.
Pam agrees with you, Gary. It was a gorgeous run.
Thank you, Pam.
Yep.
Sure was. And the cover on the right is Black Widow: Deadly Origin, 80 Granoff, and I just, I love the fact that she's in Moscow, and she's got the sniper's rifle, which is one of the things she does best, and she's in that suit. And she's on top of the on top of the building in the snowfall. She's with the winter weather around her. It's probably that cat suit is probably a little too lowly unzipped there, but I'm not going to complain too much. So, but I just love the cover, and the sense of the elements around her, the wind blowing and the snow all amongst her as she's on that roof getting ready to take a shot and take down some clown that has got it coming to him.
Yep.
So,
and I want to say too, for that Marvel Fanfare, it was some great Perez art, but there were also a few pages that were penciled by Bob Layton too. That we were like looking at this gorgeous Perez artwork. You're like, oh, this looks different. Oh, and it's Bob Layton, and it's still fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh well, Layton was very good. Yeah, he was a great penciler and a fantastic inker.
Oh yeah, he was great.
When he would ink Ramita's stuff on
Iron Man.
On Iron Man,
Yeah.
so you look at Ramita's style, it was really more Layton's style.
Yeah.
With how it would end up, with how he would ink it. His inking was so strong that he put his style into those inks. And really, if you were to look at that artwork with what you know of Ramita, you wouldn't look at that and say that's Ramita.
It's the best Ramita Jr. ever.
Yeah. Yeah, you would say that's Bob Layton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Dan, why don't you show us your top covers?
There they are.
All right, so all the way on the left, I have the Marvel team up, Spider-Man and Black Widow. I'm sure this is one of the ones that Gary has in his run.
Yep.
I just think it's cool that you see her and you don't see Spider-Man, you just see him projecting that light on it because for the younger ones out there, Spidey used to have this belt buckle kind of light that he would
signal
sign out.
Spidey signal, that's right.
Or whatever. But I think it's cool how you see her like on the like the high wire kind of thing with the light shining on her, and you see the the bodies at her feet of I guess of the people that thought that they had a chance against her. The middle one it's a variant cover from issue 1 of the 3rd volume of her series. And I love the I love the perspective of it, how she's upside down and she's falling downward, but she's shooting up. And I think the way that it's laid out, it's just such an awesome it's such an awesome way
It's a nice perspective cover.
Yeah, it's such an awesome perspective on it because you could see her like, jumping off a building and then shooting at someone that's up there too, and still getting the job done.
Yeah.
Who drew that cover?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I have that.
I'll look it
I
up.
have that. I have that cover as well. It's Kim Yasunito. Jacinito.
All right, gotcha.
Said it was volume 3, right?
And the Marvel team up.
I'm wrong then. I'm sorry.
Okay. The Marvel team up was a Hannigan, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's not volume 3.
And Jansen. It looks like. Yep, Hannigan and Jansen.
See, I thought it was volume 9 actually.
Is it volume 9? Either way, Dan, go ahead and finish talking about
your last one.
It's either volume 3 or volume 6. I don't know because one of those two issue ones is volume. I think what that might be volume 6.
It's volume 1. It's Kim Jacinto.
Volume 1
or volume 9. I'm sorry, issue number 1. Kim Jacinto.
Volume 9.
That's who it is.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's the most recent run. Yeah,
either way, because she was up to 9 volumes.
Yeah.
But and then the one on the end, it's a Greg Land cover, which
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you will about Greg Land and his, if you want to say inspiration.
There you go.
For how he does some of his covers, or some of his artwork, which if you know his art, he's infamous for where he gets, let's say, his inspiration from for some of his panels.
Late night television viewing.
What'd you say?
Late night television viewing.
Yeah. But the guy can draw, and like this is, it's a beautiful cover. She looks gorgeous in it. She's there with the big gun. It's kind of like how Gary had the other one. It's got the snow behind her. Yeah. It's got the Russian architecture behind her.
Yeah,
I like that in the logo that it's got the crosshairs with the Black Widow spider crawling on it. It's just an awesome cover, and that would be an awesome one to get framed as a print and hang on the wall too.
I agree.
Yep. All right, Tim, let's see yours.
Okay, so gentlemen, I think the only one I have similar is over on the right, that Black Widow number 1. That is also the cover for the trade for Homecoming, which I think is the first story in that run. So Dan, you said quite a bit about it. I'm just going to cap it off with it is an absolutely stunning and gorgeous cover. I think it is iconic as far as Black Widow on the cover of any issue is concerned, and it's a must-have. Over on the left is Black Widow number 1. That is J. Scott Campbell. And even though she looks trapped, ladies and gentlemen, fear not. She is just putting on the facade. All those guns mean nothing. J. Scott Campbell does gorgeous work, and I think this is a great representation of not only what he does, but Black Widow herself too.
He's channeling his Danger Girl series there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that reminds me of Danger Girl very much.
But it's a great cover. But my favorite one out of the ones that I chose is that one right in the center, that cover of Daredevil. Even though it's his book, like I said, even though it's the man's book, when she is in it, she is a step above the lead of the series. And right now she's got Daredevil in her clutches. And that cover just speaks volumes. All that black on red and just next to nothing else. And it is absolutely wonderful.
Frank Miller back when he was
good.
Yeah, good. Frank Miller, probably Jansen doing the inking too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good. I love that cover. Don't have the issue, but I love the cover.
All right, so let's go ahead and pull up my top covers here, and I'll round this group out here. All right, so so there on the left is so what number is that one? Is that Black Widow number?
Looks like number 1.
Looks like a number 1 on the left. Black Widow with
number 2.
Number 2. I must have switched it. I must have switched out my information then. I love this cover. I think I changed this at the last second. Yeah, that's probably what I did.
Great cover.
I love this one because it has a smoking gun. It's got her her picture just inside the gun. I don't know. That's just
and her fist clenched. I like that.
Yep. That was part of the as part of the clip area. Yep, that is just amazing to me. I love that one. So the middle one, of course, I chose this one. As Dan spoke well on this one. It kind of reminds me of like a Matrix type of shot where she's jumping out of the window and shooting as she's going down. So, and that one is pretty badass. And then the last one I got, Black Widow number 12. There, this is from Volume 7, and she's like, it looks like she's like knee deep in blood. She's got the gun trained on you, and it looks like she's just kind of repelled in from that rope that she's holding on to right there. So this screams badass to me.
And the Shield logo behind her.
The Shield logo behind her. So the cover artist here was Chris Samney.
Samney,
yeah. So this was a great cover. I love this one. I think I like this one the best.
That's awesome. That's a good cover.
Yep. All right, so we could move on to our next segment now, which is going to be essential readings.
Yeah.
All right, so Tim, why don't you kick us off with your essential readings first?
Sure. So let's go ahead and take a peek here. So down at the bottom, I already know that this is on other people's lists, so I won't dive too much into it. But we've talked about it a little bit before. Black Widow, the Marvel Knights series, Homecoming, the first storyline. This is not only her first like real solo title, but it dives deep into her origins. If you want to become a Black Widow fan, that right there I think is the perfect place to start, at least in the modern era. So I'll leave it to the guys to dive deeper into that one. But up above, Black Widow, Volume 9, numbers 1 through 15. That's the most recent run. I think that whole run is absolutely fantastic. She is the star of the show, and it is exactly what I was looking for. A lot of espionage, a lot of action, a lot of thriller and suspense, just all around. And the artwork throughout the entire series is absolutely gorgeous, too. If you want a great modern Black Widow story that kind of goes through a lot of her history and a little bit of her past, that volume right there, and it's only 15 issues too, so it'll be a nice solid read. But my top one is Winter Soldier, issues 1 through 14, came out in the Marvel Now era. Ed Brubaker did that, came off of Captain America and went and did Winter Soldier, and I think this was the last title he did with Marvel for a while. After this, this is the title where, even though it's Winter Soldier's book, through most of the series, she is more of the lead than Winter Soldier is. And this also has exactly what I'm looking for in a great story. And with Brubaker writing it, you know it's full of this stuff. The spy stuff, the thriller, the espionage. We've talked about scenes from this series already through the episode where she just kind of like Bucky's going through this arc of trying to get back on the level, redeem himself. She's already been through that, as Dan said. She's played that tune. She's seen that movie, and she's come to terms with who she is.
She's seen that movie.
Exactly. Yeah. I know how this is going to play out, Bucky. I know how it's going to play out. And she takes total charge throughout most of this series, and it's absolutely fantastic. If you want to see her taking charge and taking the initiative, it's absolutely fantastic. It's more of a her title than it is a Winter Soldier title.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Gary, why don't you go ahead and give us your essential readings?
All right. So what I have is also I have Homecoming, which Tim expounded upon there. So great title. Deadly Origin, was her. It had two timelines going. You had and two different artists splitting the art chores. So you'd have the flashbacks with one of the artists, with Rainey, and the other was John Paul Leon. And would do, one would do the past and one would do the modern stuff. So you could it helped you decide, put you into the mood of which timeline was which. And, I loved that. And, it was also intrigue and spy and espionage and the past coming back to haunt her kind of storyline. So I really loved that. Paul Cornell.
The good stuff.
Yeah. absolutely. Paul Cornell wrote that. And in the Homecoming one, it was written by Richard Morgan, and the art was done by Bill Sienkiewicz and Goran Parloff. And then in the Black Widow Itsy Bitsy Spider, Devin Grayson wrote it, and J.G. Jones did the art. And this is when she and Yelena come head to head, and she has to deal with the fact that there's a new widow, and they butt heads in rather memorable fashions through this whole storyline before they get on the same page there. So I really loved Itsy Bitsy Spider a lot.
Very
So
nice.
that's my 3.
All right, Dan, how about you now? Let's see your readings.
All right. Well, like Gary, I also had Itsy Bitsy Spider. I had it as that's the name of the collected volume. That is the first 2 Marvel Knights miniseries she had. Both of them were, I like the first one a bit more than the second one, but they're both fantastic. And like he said, the first one was written by Devin Grayson, with the second one being co-written by her. And J.G. Jones did some absolutely gorgeous artwork on the first one. And it delves into her origin. And it's the book that introduced Yelena, who was trying to take over as the Black Widow and was an antagonist and later on became an ally. But that's where she was introduced. So if you like that character, you definitely want to read this storyline. The next one I have is Web of Intrigue, which is it's another collected volume. It collects the 4 issues from Marvel Fanfare, issues 10, 11, 12, and 13. And Gary had the cover for number 10 and his best cover. And it also collects the Coldest War graphic novel and Bizarre Adventures number 25. But the real main story is that Marvel Fanfare storyline, which it goes through her origin, and it does get a bit wordy at times, but it's got some cool action. It's got some cool espionage stuff, and it's just got this amazingly gorgeous artwork from Perez.
Yep.
With a couple pages from Bob Layton too, just thrown in to make it even better.
Yeah, just great pinup stuff. I mean, Perez drew her so well.
Oh
yeah, it's fantastic. It was a cool, it's a great 80s, espionage kind of Black Widow story. And then the last one I have is the the Widowmaker miniseries, which teamed her up with a couple other characters from Marvel. I had her with Hawkeye and with Mockingbird, which there's a little awkwardness there because Hawkeye was an ex of Black Widow, but at that point he was kind of on the outs with Mockingbird as well, but was trying to get back with her. So that was a little awkwardness, but still it was a fun read. It brought other characters into. Dominic Fortune was in it, which was a cool book, but it was the story centered around somebody that had taken on the Ronin mantle, that was going around and finding these espionage agents and killing them. And Hawkeye got a hold of a list, and Mockingbird's name was on it, and Widow's name was on it. And then they're having to hunt down who this new Ronin is, and and figure out why he's doing what he's doing, all this, and what you find out who he is and what his ties to their past are. And it's just a fun, cool, globe-trotting espionage story that teams her up with a couple people that, like I said, there was some fun, awkward moments in it too.
No, that's a good story. I enjoyed that a lot too.
But like I said, for my for my badass moments too, that Tales of Suspense story from 100 to 104, man, that would also be on this list too, because that was a really great.
That's where she took down the Red Room.
Yeah,
definitely. All right, let's go ahead and bring up my recommended readings here. So I have a few of them here from different volumes. I went with Kiss and Kill from Volume 5, issues 6 through 8. This was a pretty good storyline in itself, and one of my it almost made a badass moment was when she's actually clinging on to Iron Man's armor. He's been immobilized. He's inside the armor. He's being shot at the Avengers mansion in the past to destroy the Avengers, and she's clinging on to him. She's breathing through his mouth slit so she can get the air, but she also forces a pill into Tony Stark so that it will help him, like give him a heart attack to reboot his armor. So she's gonna forcibly kill him by forcing some pill into his mouth. How she's doing this through the armor.
It wasn't Viagra, was it?
No, it was was but
Okay.
It works. She's good with the tongue, I guess, because
This is
she has
going
to
to
get
hurt
it through.
you more than it's going to hurt me.
She has to get it through. She has to get it through the armor and then to him. But anyhow, that's a pretty badass movement in itself. But the storyline is pretty cool because it kind of devolves into little past thing, and they kind of give the Avengers of the past a shock as they go by, including the original Iron Man, it was a good read. It was a good read, and if you notice, there was no Beast on that Avengers. Yeah. Anyhow.
Well, that's why it's a subpar story and not
Ouch.
My lord.
So next up is I got Black William Volume 8.
I'm getting you a Band-Aid, Sal. Hang on.
I know. I need the aloe vera because that was a good burn. Nice one, Gary. I'll give you a point for that one, Gary. Good point.
Sal,
All
I
right?
appreciate that.
Nothing but love for you. For you.
Got nothing but love for you too, my brother.
So next up is volume 8, 1 through 5, because I believe there was only 5 issues of volume 8, and so it's a good story with the Twisted Twins. It's a story of vice and violence and vengeance, and all around it's it's her trying to be a hero, and I really think that it's an easy pickup. So I think this would be a good read to get into the character. It has ruthless villains in it. She's not sure if she's going to be trapped in somebody else's web, but there's lines that are crossed in here, and I don't want to give it away. But it turns out there's no turning back from this story, or this whole miniseries, I'll call it, because it's only 1 through 5. So the next one up. What's that?
I was gonna say, I think you guys got your volumes mixed up because there is no 9th volume. The last
There is.
There is.
The last series she had.
I'm looking at it right now.
The last series she had was Volume 8. It ended in 2022.
Volume.
Dude, I got it in CLZ Volume 9.
Yeah,
CLZ is not a mistake because every other spot I've looked at only has it going up to 8 volumes. They must have something else included.
Sal, go ahead and I will send Dan a screenshot.
Yeah, please do. Straighten his ass out. And then after that, go over to Gary and tell him about Beast not being an Avenger. Okay, so.
No, I am not doing that.
He's not doing your dirty work.
No. So I got to fight the fight myself. All right, Gary,
Yep,
you're on.
you're on your own.
It's going to be your own stars and garters on.
Oh, nice one there. Anyhow, so Black William Volume yet to be determined, which I think is 9. We have issues 1 through 5.
Dan, look at your messenger, please.
There you go. The Ties That Bind. So she's always, as the story comes out, she's always been a spy. She's never stopped running, and you're really sure if she's working for the good guys or the bad, but this is one of these things where it's a good spy thriller. And I think this really caters to that spy thriller or that espionage type of storyline. So that's why I'm recommending this one for that espionage on it alone. So definitely check this one out.
All right.
According to CLZ, this is the 9th volume. Yep.
There is.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hang on a second. I'm gonna show.
All right.
this once and
Time
for
out,
all.
ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna take us 5 minutes here to research some stuff because 3 out
You
of 4
can
says a volume
continue.
9.
You can continue. I got
Ties
this.
That Bind, volume
Ties
9.
That Bind. Yep, volume 9.
Volume 9.
Hang on.
According to CLZ.
And if Gary's on my side, he's right.
Well, I'll be on your side when you're correct. You know that incorrect shit you keep talking about the beast. I can't be a party to that.
Oh my lord!
He was on loan, ladies and gentlemen, on loan.
Yeah, he was a full-fledged blue furry member.
with a card. They handed out Avengers cards to everybody. Come on, I have an Avengers card from when I was a kid. Okay,
Moon
Yeah, but
Knight even has an Avengers card, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. All right, so let's go ahead to our next segment, which is gonna be our last segment of the night, and that is best rightist and best
Best
artist. See, Gary has me so discombobulated
Best
tonight.
rightist and arter.
Yes, author and artist.
My stars and garters, ladies and
Oh, my
gentlemen.
stars and garters.
Stars and garters.
I'm blaming tonight's episode on Gary. Okay.
Before we do best writers and artists, go ahead and
Okay.
take a look at this.
Take a look at this. Look at that. Dan, are you looking?
So
I'm telling you, CLZ's wrong. Everybody
volume
wants
one.
to worship at this CLZ
Two.
altar, but it's not right.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Yep, and they got one in there that is that should not be.
Well, which one?
This could be an argument for another time. Let's not sidetrack this.
Listen to that, ladies and
he's
gentlemen.
He's backpedaling now. He's backpedaling now.
No, I just sent Tim some screenshots too.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. It's
half
on.
an hour in the middle of this trying to research it.
Ring the bell. School's in town, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh. Ding dong.
Well, Dan, while Tim's looking at that, why don't you give us your best artist and author?
This conversation will happen off air, ladies and gentlemen.
So for both of them, I kind of copped out. I couldn't narrow it down to just one, so I got 2 for each one. So for writer, I really like Devin Grayson on the first 2 Marvel Knight series, but I also really liked Matthew Rosenberg on the Tales of Suspense series when they brought her back, and it had that whole thing that all of us talked about where you don't really know which side she's on. It's kind of the double agent, triple agent type of thing. It played that really well with bringing her back after she died and, getting rid of the Red Room and stuff. Then for artists, I really like what J.G. Jones did with that first Marvel Knight series. The artwork in it's gorgeous. The action is really well. But at the same time, George Perez is just, I guess if that one I have to pick George Perez because you can't beat George Perez drawing her. It's just, it looks so great in the Marvel fanfare stuff, in the Avengers. It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So Tim, why don't you go ahead and give us your best author and artist?
So I think the obvious choice for me is going to be Ed Brubaker. I know he writes a beautiful Black Widow story because he did it in Winter Soldier. But if he truly had like 6 to 12 issues to really tell a story, or even in a full ongoing, I think he could do a lot of character building, restructuring of origin, paying homage to the classics from before, but telling a really engaging and wonderful story that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Ed Brubaker has to be my choice. If I had a secondary choice, I would love to see what Scott Snyder could do with her. His work on Batman, I think he could write that type of character, but I think that Black Widow would be a little bit of a challenge for him. Maybe with how ingrained he is with writing Batman, writing a character like Natasha Romanoff may be a little bit of a challenge, but I think he would do a very, very good job with it. And if Barnstormers is any telltale sign, I think he could do really well.
Yep.
As far as artists go, with either of the writers, either of these 2 artists that I have, you could pair with either one of them, and it would be a gorgeous story to look at. I'd love to see Adam Hughes do a mini or a maxi series. I'd really love to see him dig in and do some interiors on Black Widow, or I would love to see Frank Cho do it.
Oh, that would be great.
I think Frank Cho would be fantastic.
what I think would be cool is if they ever did start doing Marvel DC crossovers again, which maybe they will since they're reprinting that stuff now.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to see a crossover with her and Nightwing.
Oh, that'd be great.
And you know,
espionage stuff that he did when he was with Spiral, so he's kind of in that world.
Yeah.
But as far as you know what they're willing to do and stuff, they're worlds apart.
Oh yes. Yes.
But what do they have in common? A hell of a rap sheet on who they scored.
Yeah.
So they're going to get busy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they both got a pretty big body count, and we're not talking about the kind of the more.
Barbara, I gotta go with this lady.
They both have quite an impressive roster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
But yeah, Ed Brubaker and Scott Snyder for writer, and Adam Hughes and Frank Cho for artwork.
Okay. All right, Gary, how about you? What do you have?
All right. Well, first, I want to pair one thing with Tim Brubaker. Velvet.
Done.
Velvet.
I've got it written down.
And it's an aging, it's an aging female protagonist that's in the Spy Game. I'm telling you, it is a magnificent book. And also, because you're writing things down, with the Punisher, it's War Zone, and put Greg Rucka, okay? Because there is the War Zone series of his that gets confusing, but it's got to be the Greg Rucka 5-issue mini. So you put Rucka with it. So for my writer, I like Rucka a lot. I think Brubaker a lot. The problem with the Widow is she doesn't really have a signature writer or a signature artist, because so many people have told great stories of her.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I'm kind of with Dan on this, though. I'm going to give some love to Devin Grayson, and another reason why I'm going to, she wrote 2 great miniseries with her, and another reason is a lot of times we don't get to pick female creators as much. They're just because this is a male. There we go.
TJ says, I feel a new comic controversy coming on, but it won't dethrone Hulk 180. No, it'll be
nothing will dethrone Hulk 180. No.
He said deep throat. Dethrone. My bad.
Dethrone. He said dethrone.
I mean, if you can, then you are a greater person than anybody on this planet.
I think everything could fit in Hulk 180's throat. All right. So, but yeah, we'll give Devin Grayson that nod. And as for artists, so I do, man, Perez is great at everything he draws, but Perez, again, has gotten a lot of limelight and a lot of spotlight with us. So that's why I want to throw a little bit of shine the light a little bit on J.G. Jones, because that art that he did on the Itsy Bitsy Spider was magnificent. And it was interesting that a cover that we did not see tonight that I really thought we would see was the Alex Ross cover for the hero, when heroes.
I
like it, but
I had that on my short list.
That was there, but I like spotlighting an art. It's harder for me to pick some of the cover artists because the land is great, and these other folks are, but it's the interior artists that make every page come to life. And if I have an opportunity, I would rather spotlight somebody like that stands out. And J.G. Jones was doing the covers and the interiors. So those are my picks: Devin Grayson, J.G. Jones.
Okay.
I almost picked that J.G. Jones cover for the first issue of that Marvel Knight series. I almost picked that as one of my top covers too.
Oh, it was great. It was really good. It was very good. Yep.
Okay. Nice. All right. So for my artist and writer, I have to agree with Gary. I think George Perez is the man when it comes to drawing anything. He can literally draw a stick in the wind and it would be beautiful.
I think he has.
Alex Ross, while he is amazing on his drawings, I cut his cover out because I don't know if it's because there was no background with it and it was just kind of like the torso up shot of her, which was still a beautiful book, but it just didn't scream Widow enough for me. That's why I cut down on that one. But for best artist, I actually settled on Daniel Acuna.
Good choice.
And interior artwork was done by Elena Casagrande. I can't pronounce the last name.
I know.
Big house.
Yeah, and also Stephanie Hans. So I went in that order, but I really think I lean towards Daniel Acuna's artwork the best because he did do a lot of it, including the controversial Volume 9.
Then he have a partner Matata.
What's that? The Kuna Matata? What?
Yeah, exactly.
It means no worries.
Yeah, means no worries.
worries.
For writer, I have Kelly Thompson, but I got for a close second, I have Chris Samney and Mark Waid. As sorry, I hit the microphone there. As close seconds, but I'll go ahead and
Wade
give
would
Kelly
tell
Thompson.
a very good story.
Yep.
I think.
And that's,
yeah.
well, all these different answers again go back to the point that there's no definitive Widow artist or writer because so many people have taken their shots at this character and done quite well, but there's not one that has defined this character.
Exactly.
And
totally
I hope there never is because she's the type of character that needs alternate viewpoints being told or different ways to tell her tales. And that's what makes her so unique.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
She's one of those few characters that does not need a defining moment like the Claremont run or, the Byrne run or Bagley doing artwork or whatever. She can be done by a multitude of different people.
Well, again, maybe that's from somebody that is a spy and can, ease into the woodwork,
Right.
That is a chameleon. Chameleon, that's a trigger word for Sonny.
Yeah, can't say that. Same with Metamorpho. Don't do that.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that joke. Oh, I'm sorry I missed that one.
Sonny is still heartbroken after all these years that he never got a chameleon action figure or a Metamorpho. So we're going to get him a combo figure, a Metamelian figure.
A Chameleomorpho. Wow.
All right, Sonny, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
We love you, Sonny.
I'm sorry.
Sal's apologizing for all of it.
Christmas is going to be disappointing for you yet again.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm just going to apologize now, Sonny. So I'm sorry. So. All right.
Hey, if we do get him a chameleon figure, it's got to have broken arms and missing pieces.
Why can't we just get one figure with like a figure arm from one figure, a leg from another, and just stick them all together? Type of Frankenstein.
We wouldn't want all these other figures to feel like they were inferior.
Left out.
Yeah.
Now
he's just confused on who he wants to be.
I was going to say, give him an actual figure of an actual lizard chameleon. Be like, here you go. Here's a chameleon figure.
Rango.
Right.
Classic. All right, folks. I believe this does wrap up this episode of Comic Character of the Week. Let's say everybody's got some final points they want to add in there. What do you got, Dan?
I do. I'm sitting here with many tabs open looking at this. If you pull up CLZ.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
CLZ, I can't really, I'm trying to get this cover bigger. I can't tell.
I sent you the screenshot.
I know. I'm saying, pull it up and look at Volume 4. What CLZ has listed as Volume 4 is not Volume 4. It's something else.
Volume 4 is issue numbers 1 through 6. That looks like a number 1 through 6. The things they say about her. Well, there's a lot. And so Volume 3 is also Marvel Knights 1 through 6.
No, Volume 1 through 3 is good. Volume 4 is something that's not actually Volume 4, and then it adds, all that. So then what is Volume 4 in CLZ becomes Volume 5, and so on and so forth.
So
4 in CLZ is not an actual standalone Black Widow series. It might be, and that's why I said I can't tell because trying to zoom in on the cover, it's too blurry. I can't see who the creators are, and I can't see the full title.
The creators of Black Widow Volume 4?
Yeah.
It's Richard K. Morgan, Sean Phillips, and Bill Sienkiewicz. The things they say about her is the title of issue 1.
And that is also the creative team in Volume 3. Is that correct?
Yep.
Richard K. Morgan and Bill Sienkiewicz.
See, I almost shows that issue number 2 is that.
Either way, ladies and gentlemen, TJ is absolutely correct. The most controversial thing ever to happen on Codex is not cameos versus first appearances. It's Black Widow Volume 9.
No. Nothing will replace Hulk 180. Nothing.
Well, listen, if I thought the most controversial would be Black Widow Volume 69. Would that be it?
You have to pay for the premium service for that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Oh, is she? Oh, no. Is that the one where she's scissoring Yelena?
Probably. I don't know. Let's end the show.
Oh, quick.
Oh, God. I was trying to end this show, but no, we have to bring up the.
You just have to ask, and then Dan will proudly say one more thing.
One more thing.
Well, I'm not asking anymore. So.
Hey, listen, Jamie's going to be very disappointed we've done this show under 2 hours.
Oh, I know. We should bring in another topic. Let's talk about Hulk 180.
It first appeared in Black Widow Volume 9.
Let's talk about all the merits of Cyclops.
Yeah. The top 10 things that ruined Cyclops' day.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, I'll save it for off air.
There was too many people talking.
Oh, I said I'll save my comment for off air. Pam says,
right.
Thank you, gentlemen. So that is our cue. Pam will do it for us.
Thank you, Pam.
Get the hell out of here.
Thank you, Pam. All right, folks. This wraps up this episode of Comic Character of the Week from the Codex Station. I am your host, Sal the Slab Guy. You can always find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner or under Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. Dan the Man Kelly, tell them quickly where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. So go check it out and give me a follow.
There you go. And then over there's the Ric Flair of comics.
Woo.
Give us a quick, tell us where they can find you, Gare.
Comic Logic, Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. Please come see us if you're in Northern Virginia on Free Comic Book Day, May the 5th. May the 4th. We have the Brendan Wayne, who is the actor that plays the Mandalorian when the helmet is on. He's going to be signing. We would love to see you. Archduke Kevy, yep, that guy. Archduke Kevy's site, Comic Character of the Day. Please go see that site.
Definitely.
And see it. You know, we love posting things on that site. And if you see my cover of the day, yes, it is Bagley art, as Tim up there will attest.
That is correct.
All right,
ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, find us on all the socials. All you got to do is type in at the Codex Station. That is where you will find us. Gary so lovingly is going to tell you how to catch those.
Yeah. Listen, and we take great pleasure in giving them to you because we do have all the socials, and that's what we want to do. We are here to give them to you in whatever delivery system you want, baby.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, at the Codex Station. If you made it this far, you love long-form content like this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. You've watched us more than once. After 3 times, you're not a guest anymore. You're family. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Do us all a favor, including yourself, so that way you get notifications when new episodes like this come out all the time. Every time, ladies and gentlemen. And also, don't forget, if you want to have a nice, cool, awesome t-shirt to wear in the morning while Sal is cooking in only a Green Lantern apron, go ahead and head over to thecodexstation.com for all your Codex needs. Get some merch, meet the team, and so much more. Once again, thecodexstation.com.
Sal's like Arby's. He's got the meats.
He sure does.
Oh, dude, I do got the meats, baby. I'm not going to give you the meat sweats. All right.
All right, Sal, take us home, buddy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's literally nothing much else to say, but thank you for joining us tonight. And I hope you guys have a Hulk 180 day.
Woo! Like it.
I need it. I want it. I have
Gaping
to.
holes.
Gaping holes.
Thank you. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good
we
night.
love you.
Good night. Try the veal.